Hey everybody, it's Andy. Welcome to Live Office Hours on Thursday. Great to see ya. Get in the chat, say hi. Got a great one for you today. Plenty of time. Think everything is working just great. Great to have you. Helping you build a career you love every Thursday, Tuesdays too, most other days of the week as well. If you are here with me live, get in the chat, say hi. Let me know who you are. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you do. Let me know what you need. Put some question marks in front of your questions so I can find them. And if you are in my job search bootcamp or my leadership program, please let me know. Or any of my wonderful programs or communities. Thank you. All right, let's get rolling. I believe we are all in order here. I seem to be looping on... Am I on? See if I can. Sorry if I can't see me in YouTube. It's a black screen. There I am. Okay, let's start over. I'm Andy. You're here. Great to have you. Thursday Live Office Hours, helping you build a career you love. Good to go. Okay. Let me know who you are. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you do. Let me know what you need. Put some question marks in front of your questions. And if you're in any of my programs, let me know. Got a great package for you today on how to view your job search. It's part mindset and outlook. It's part storytelling, and it is part Socratic method. Something questions you can ask yourself to get better results in your job search. Really excited about this one. I've got a great amount of time for you today, so we'll have plenty of time for the Q&A if you're with me live. So I have been coaching a lot of people for a good many years, and the people that I coach one-on-one, which I have one-on-one coaching sessions almost every day of the week, week in, week out. And inevitably, we get to a point, whether they only take one coaching session with me or whether this is somebody that I coach on an ongoing basis, whether it's for their job search or their career. And this usually comes out of my mouth at some point, and I wanted to share this with you about your job search being one unit. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because I don't think a lot of people actually look at it that way. So I don't know if you were with me last week, but if you were, I did a session on getting things done, and it was about how to make a lot of progress in your life, how to produce a lot of products, deliverables, all that good stuff in your life, in your career, and in your job search. And one of the things that I pointed to, if you remember this card, was unification, which is looking at your job search as one unit. And this is really going to be the central theme today. We're going to take a deeper dive about how everything that you do in your job search, really this applies to anything in your life, that this is the overarching outlook I want you to have, because when you look at things this way, I think you're going to be able to make better decisions. You will have a better attitude. You will be able to make better adjustments as well. And so what do I mean by that? Well, part of it is having faith that the unity itself is designed to get you to where you're supposed to be in the right spot at the right time. You've got to believe this. Really, it's true. And I've got some stories here for you today on this, but this is the overarching thing that we're going to go through today. I want to break it down. It's part psychology and it's part formula here that I'm going to get you at the end. But here's what I notice about a lot of people that I coach. When we get engaged and they talk about, I went through this, I went through that, I was interviewing with this company, that didn't work out, and so forth. Here's the big issue. Here's the big mistake that really adds a lot of stress to your life. The biggest issue that I see with people just in life in general, but especially in their job search, is they get bogged down with the individual activities. I'm having trouble with my resume. I'm having trouble putting cover letters together. The recruiter who was supposed to call me never got back to me. The applicant tracking system is difficult to work with. The process is moving slower than I anticipated. They didn't offer me as much money as I wanted or as I think I deserve. Those kinds of things. And that to me is, number one, our stress levels, and the reason we are primarily stressed is because we expect the world to be different than it is. That's the first thing. But I think the second thing is we don't tend to step back and look at the greater context of everything that's happening, not just the individual acts and what they're doing to us, our attitude and our stress levels, but also the context upon which they are placed in front of us. The challenges are there for a reason. Okay, they're there for a reason, and you need to be able to notice it when it happens so you can, number one, reflect on it, interpret it properly, get value out of it, do something with it so that you actually attain the results that you want. Okay, so that's the big issue. Now, I play this little game with myself, and I invite you to do this. You don't need to do this right this second, but I want to tell you what the game is that I do this with myself every day. And I think about it in the grand scheme of things. I think about it just within a day. But I have this little game, and it's like, how did I get here? Okay, so I want you to think about how did I get here in whatever context. So there's this funny little story that is a not so small part of my life. And when I was I came out of school. And, I was 21 years old or whatever I was, and I took a job at Anderson Consulting, and I had this boss, and his name was RJ. Actually, RJ wasn't even my direct boss. He was my boss's boss. There was me, there was Bob, there was RJ. And I worked with RJ for a number of months, and I left for a real short period of time. Then I came back to the project that he was managing. We had a great run together, maybe a couple of years. And, this is back in the 80s and very early 90s. And it wasn't as easy to stay connected as it is now. I mean, there was no such thing as LinkedIn or Facebook, and we didn't have email, and we didn't have even computers. We used the computers on site. So, and we didn't have cell phones and those kind of things. So RJ moved away, and I lost touch with him, and fast forward 20 years. Now here I am, and it's, 2007 almost. And RJ was at a tennis match. His daughter was playing in high school tennis. And RJ was sitting next to my friend Ted, who actually was somebody that I met through MileWalk, my recruitment firm, and we became friends. And Ted and RJ just coincidentally, their daughters were playing doubles tennis together, something like that. And they got to talking, and RJ was a senior vice president at a company. He says, hey, I'm wondering, do you know anybody? I've been looking for a senior vice president of sales for a long time. I can't seem to find anybody. And Ted says to RJ, well, I'll give you the best recruiter that I've ever seen. You should call him and see if he can help you. And RJ said, okay, well, what's his name? He says, well, Andy LaCivita. And RJ thought, well, Andy LaCivita? So, that's not a real common name. I was like, I knew an Andy LaCivita. He used to work at Anderson Consulting. He was on one of my teams back in the day. RJ says, same guy. And Ted says, same guy. And, you could see RJ's thinking, and Ted's like, yeah, Andy's come a long way. It's 20 years later now. So RJ gives me a call. I help him with this recruitment. And then a few years goes by. I help him with his career. This is kind of common, right? I develop a multi-dimensional relationship with people that I get connected with. And I was pestering RJ about, you need to really expand what you're doing. You should try a startup. They're really fun. This and that. So we're having lunch one day, and he says to me, okay, you can stop pestering me. I'm going to go work for a startup. And there's, they're like 5 guys in a garage, but this is what we're doing, and we're going to be consulting on this, and we hope to grow it, and so on and so forth. And then before I could even say congratulations, I said to him, well, do you need any money? Like, do you need seed money, like in angel investors? And he said, yeah, let me talk to the, CEO, and I'll get you connected. And so I did. And I thought, this is great. I want to invest. So I called up a couple buddies. I called, my ex-girlfriend. I called up my sister. I said, hey, I got this investment, and I'm trying to raise capital for this old boss and this new friend of mine. And Michelle, my sister, says to her husband, Clark, hey, brother Andy wants, us to invest. And Clark says, hey, if Andy's got something he wants us to invest in, give him whatever amount of money we can. So I get all these checks. I drive like an hour and a half to meet Paul. He's in a different state, the CEO of the company. And here we are, 6 o'clock in the morning, in a diner, in the middle of nowhere, and I'm handing him all this money and these checks. And I'm thinking to myself, and I start laughing. He says, what are you smiling? I said, well, if in 1988 or 9, when I met RJ, if then somebody would have bonked me over the head, and all of a sudden I'd wake up, here we are like 25 years later, and I'm sitting in a diner handing all this money over to some guy, you'd think RJ and I were in some kind of illegal ring or something like that. And the point of the story is, a lot of things happen in the evolution. Now, whether you want to do it 25 days or 25 years or 25 minutes of your life, things happen. And you have to think about the greater context of all of the things that had to happen. And let's take your relationship and my relationship for a second. Think about what had to happen in order for you and I to be here right now. I had to be born, right? Let's not even go to, mom and dad LaCivita and great-grandpa and great-grandpa and so on. And then I had to do something and go to this school and take this first job and somewhere along the way not get a promotion, have a chip on my shoulder, which forced me to leave a few years later to go to another consultancy to learn how to run a business, to then be so motivated to open a recruiting firm, then become a career coach, and so on and so forth. Then think about you. All the things that you had to go through, right? Maybe I have an aspiration for a greater career. Maybe I don't like my job. Maybe I was ceremoniously let go. I tried doing this on my own. I got so miffed I didn't know how to interview. It took me to YouTube. I found one of this guy's videos. I filtered out a bunch of career coaches. I came to Andy's Thursday shows and so on. Right? Think about all of these things. Do you ever stop to think about what has to happen in order for this to be happening right now? Tell you what, let me give something away. Because it's December, right? We're doing this live. I don't know if you're watching this on the recording, when that might be. But I want you to think for a second. I answer my YouTube comments, my blog comments, my Mile Walk Academy comments, people that are in the premium programs, that are in the system, that ask me questions. And every single day, people download something from me or they subscribe to my newsletter. They get an email that says, thank you for taking whatever it is you grabbed, and then welcome to my community. Here's me. Tell me about you. And they respond. There's 6 magical words that they say to make up a complete sentence. It is the most common expression, piece of feedback, statement, or whatever that people say to me every day. And even if you've never said it to me, what do you think that statement is in their life? In this moment, and they're responding to me, or they're saying something to me, what do you think that is? I want to give you a shot at what you don't even have to get this expression perfectly right. You just need to get the sentiment. But what do you think that is? What do you think that statement is? And I'll give you a juicy prize, the first person who can come up with that. And I want to move on. I want to talk about you and what you might be going through. And I was talking about, hey, I had to put a resume together. I had to put it in, send it out to somebody. I had to prep a cover letter. I had to put something in an applicant tracking system. I had to interview, and so on. All that stuff, right, leads you to me, or it's taking you through your journey. But what a lot of you do is you think these are individual acts, individual failures, or individual challenges and steps, when that is just not the case. When something happens to you that is by design supposed to happen, the universe is making it happen so that you can get to where you want to go. It's just a pawn being moved off the chessboard. I mean, think about chess, for example. I mean, it's a square board game, 64 squares. You got 16 pieces of white, 16 pieces of black. How is it that every master chess player can remember every single move of every single game, where all the pieces were all the time? But for somebody like you and me, who's an amateur, it would be nearly impossible for us to remember that. Why? They see the board, they see the game as one unit. They're not trying to memorize where all 32 pieces are on the board, right? Or 20 pieces, or whatever it is, right? They see it as a unit. That's how you need to see your job search, because everything that you do and everything that happens to you has value in the moment it occurs. But a lot of people get upset. Things aren't going the way I want. I can't understand how to get past this. That's the wrong way of looking at it. You're focusing on a moment in time instead of looking at the greater picture. All right, so wait, I don't know if my team is telling me if anybody got that, but I'm going to keep rolling. Let me tell you about a couple other people. There's a woman, Priya, who is a one-on-one coaching client with me. She emails me a while back and says, Andy, look, I don't want to go through any online training programs. I need help. I'm going to be interviewing with different organizations. I know they're going to be top shelf. I used to work for Amazon. I quit. I'm unemployed. Just tell me what I need to pay you to prepare me for all of this. I don't want to watch anything. I want to talk to you. So we got together. We outlined a plan of what we thought, she was going to need and all that good stuff. And then almost every week she had interviews with companies like Pinterest and Twitter and Google and Facebook and Oracle and a number of other very prominent companies. And every time she would have an interview, I would prepare her. And we would, get all her foundational stuff in order. And then I would say, here's the curves and the sliders. And here's the other things that you're going to need to be ready for this type of interview with this person at this level. Here's what they're likely going to do, and so on. We would go through the session. She would watch the recording. She would make her notes. She would practice her stories. She would go in, and inevitably she'd do 90%. Right? They'd throw her a slider, she'd miss it, and at the end of those sessions, she'd email me back and she'd say, Andy, I knew you prepped me, I knew it, but I choked, or whatever, or I fumbled, or there was a twist that we didn't talk about that they threw to me. I said, don't you worry, right? And she would be bummed out, and I would say, what do you care that you didn't even want to work for that company anyway? Right? So pawn being moved off the chessboard, and then we'd polish something up. I said, don't worry, have faith. Then Apple came. And we prepped for that. And then I will never forget, I was driving, it was in the summertime, and I was going to the lake for a swim, and I missed a call from her, and I hit it on the speaker, the Bluetooth in my car, and Priya talks a mile a minute, and she's like, oh my God, Andy, Apple, I got a job, and I will never forget the elation. I think she was laughing, crying, everything, all emotions all at once, because it was designed to get her to where she needed to be at the right time. This will happen for you. This happens a lot. So here's what I want you to do. I want to give you 5 things that I want you to think about. Tape these up on your computer, put them in your notebook, whatever it might be, wherever it's good for you, however you organize your stuff. The first thing, so this is the Socratic method I was talking about. You can use this on yourself, but I want you to think about this. Number 1, have faith. All right? Life happens for you, not to you. All right? Whatever happens is for your own good. Okay, let's just eliminate death for a second, but pretty much everything else that happens, if you can look for the good in it, right, and trust and have faith that was supposed to happen, I think you'll be in great shape. This is kind of step 1 or step 0. Then I want you to think about, okay, what can I learn from this right now? All right, there's a learning component. Whatever happens to you along the way, I want you to make sure that you're focusing on what is it that I can take away from it at this moment. Did you go to an interview? Did you have a hiccup? Did they say, well, your answers weren't detailed enough? Okay, well, maybe they're correct, maybe not. What can I do with this what can I learn from this right now? Do I need to be more detailed? Can you evaluate that? Can you step back? When you send a letter out or a message, so to speak, or an email where you're targeting a boss and the boss comes back to you and says something, maybe that feedback is, hey, I should have included that in my email. Is there something that I can learn from that? Maybe I need to polish up certain things. Okay, but what can I learn from this right now? And the next thing, what can I do with this right now? Okay, so learning is soaking it up. This is the action part, right? So what can I do with this right now? Oh, you didn't get the job. Okay, well, can you send the thoughtful Andy's rejection letter? If you don't know what that is, check out How to Get the Job After Being Rejected. Can you send that, right? Can you send that and make sure that the bridge you've built and the relationships that you developed through the interview process that at this moment was unsuccessful can be continued? Can you tee yourself up for a 30-day follow-up? Can you open yourself up to more possibilities inside that organization? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Well, what can I do with this right now? Can I learn from it, and can I use that going forward in my next interview? Okay? So what did I learn, and how can I apply it, and what can I do with it right at the moment? But then, what about this one? Well, what can I do with it forever? What can I learn from this forever? Do you think that anything I tell you in any of these shows just apply, if we're talking about job searching, just applies to job searching? No, there is a lifelong application too. the networking principles that I share with you. As you're putting a cover letter together, you might be thinking, I need to put a cover letter together because I have to submit it for a job application or with this email I'm sending to whatever. No, yes, that is an action, but what can you do with it forever? I just taught you what are the 7 mental trigger and emotional trigger points for somebody to elicit a response the kind you want. These are things that skills you should be developing while you happen to be going through something that has a very short-term effect and a short-term consequence in your life, right? So are you doing things for the long haul? I had a coaching session, actually speaking of coaching sessions, I had one last night with a woman, and the main topic of the coaching session was that she wanted to have a discussion with her boss. And she wanted my advice on how would I go to my boss and explain to my boss what it is that I want my job to look like next year. I'm not completely happy with this, and my boss is not very responsive. She's not very engaged with me, and I want to know, how do I say what I want to say? I know I have to do some soul searching and have to identify this. So we go through the discussion. I taught her about how she needed to, first off, identify those things, and how she needed to put a mixture together in thinking about how her boss would construe or misconstrue everything she was saying and doing. So we went through this outline. I talked to her about how to prime the discussion, how to frame the discussion, how to say what she wanted to say. There were little mixtures in there and different techniques to elicit a positive response. We got done with that, and then I said to her, okay, now pause for a second. Now I want you to fast forward and think about when you're interviewing for a job. You use the same exact template when you find yourself in situations such as, and I outlined exactly how she would find herself in those situations and how she can apply what I just taught her forever, for life, for wherever job she's working, at whatever company she's working for, or whatever company she's in. There is forever applicability to the things that you learn or do or experience every single day. Are you taking advantage of applying this? Don't miss this chance. Don't miss any chance. All right, and then the 5th thing that I would say to you is, who can I carry with me? So along the way in what I do, how can I make what I'm doing benefit others? So I'm not talking about getting support. I'm talking about how do you offer up your help in whatever it is you're doing. So in your job search, are there other people that you could help support, teach, refer things to, right? Things you've found interesting, books you've read, people like me you've met, whoever, however. But who is it that I can help along the way? Because in helping somebody else, I'm going to learn a lot about me. Do you know every week when I show up and I teach you stuff, and then we do the Q&A after, you're teaching me what I need to teach you, right? It's an example. You're helping me get better. I carry you guys with me every week, every day, right? Can you help somebody along the way? And by you helping them, you're going to grow in the process as well. So if you take a look at these things and these 5 things that I've given you, I think you're going to have a lot. Number one, you're going to be able to have a much better attitude. You will be much more positive. You will get more value out of what you're doing. You will know how to make better adjustments. So just think about it. I know and have faith that I'm on the right track. It might be taking you a week. It might be taking you a month. You might have been with me a year focusing on this stuff. There's something that I assure you'll get to where you're supposed to be. Second thing is, what can I learn? Right? What can I learn from this right now? So focusing on the right now. What can I learn? What can I do with it? How can I apply it for the larger picture and the longer term? And who else can I help and bring along with me and grow myself in the process? All right. So I want you to think about that. I hope that serves you. And I want to check back. Did anybody actually take a shot at what they think is the most common thing that somebody says to me? Team, did anybody get that? I need some kind of answer because I'm seeing silence from my team. But if I'm going to give my team a chance to respond, I know I'm on a delay. So you got to give me a no one took a shot at it at all. I don't know. Let me just double check there. I don't know. I'm not really getting anything. So, all right, I'm going to tell you what it was. It was, I wish I found you sooner. Right? That is the most. Now they're telling me they're on the wrong channel. Okay, hang on a second. Somebody did it. Teresa Brown, I wish I would have found you sooner. Yes, she got it. Okay, Kara, let's see. I think Teresa Brown is a boot camper. And if you are not in the leadership program, congratulations, you are now. And I'm going to tell you about the leadership program. I wish I found you earlier. Doug, you know what? We got a tie. I don't know who. I can't even read what my team is telling me. So can we just give Doug, if you are not in my job search boot camp, I'll let you in that. If you are in my job search boot camp, because I don't know that I recognize your name. Or you can have the leadership program for you. I'm going to tell you about the leadership program in a second. And my team, get on the damn right channel. Thank you for that. Okay. All right. See? And wait, speaking of my team and speaking of the leadership program, but before we go into that, I hope you enjoyed that program. Thanks, for your attention on that. I hope it helped. I can teach you all day long about how to do this and how to do that. But I think your mindset, your attitude, and your outlook are wildly important and really can change the complexion of your search and your life. So if you're here with me live, we're going to be heading to the Q&A. If you're not and you're on the recording, I'll see you next week. Now, speaking of my team, so Teresa and Doug, email support@milewalk.com, and we'll get you fixed up whatever you need. I like giving away good presents. I have two announcements for you. One is, speaking of my leadership program, I want to just spend a quick couple of minutes and tell you tomorrow we are doing a reflection session where I look back annually. I reflect daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually. The annual one is a really big one because I look back at the whole year. I've got a great session tomorrow. It's at 11 Central Time. We do this every month. We do a leadership coaching session every month. It's every 4 weeks. This year they were always on Fridays. I think next year we'll probably always have them on Fridays as well. And they're really great. But just if you have not seen the program, I would like to show you the program. But I also want to show you, this is us, the team. Can I get a shout out for Kara and for Stacy, who help me every week? They've helped me all year long. This is us. And I'm probably embarrassing the hell out of them. This is us after a 4-hour reflection session last Friday. Yes, there was adult beverages involved. Harley must have been with me every minute of it and wanted to get in the photo. But can we give them a shout out and a big thumbs up for those guys? They are really, really stellar, and none of this works without them. So we did this session last week, but I want to show you, kind of what's in the program. And if you've never seen this, head over to the page. It's really a lot of fun. It's all about self-improvement, leadership performance, all the stuff you needed to know, but they never taught you in school. We meet every 4 weeks. I teach my best strategies and give you the best tools. There's a huge library. You also get this career accelerator program. This might be appealing to you guys. It's about, the first 90 days, planning and preparing for your promotions. I give you all my idea generation methodology, my excellence planning, my organizational tactics. I also talk with you about performance reviews. There is a ton of good stuff. We have a foundational week that's related to building confidence, mastering your focus, building great habits, and then you get a number of other bonuses like personal branding, the power of your personal story, all this other good stuff. And if you're interested in understanding what some of these topics are, so I mentioned the leadership, the focus, the habit building. We just did one on professional networking. That was last month. But, there's communication, that's sending your message, dealing with difficult people, thriving in difficult times. You get the idea. Risk management. We had done a lot of stuff related to These might be of interest to you. High performance, I talk about my energy, listening, giving persuasive speeches, building trust, making great decisions. You get the idea. And then every month, what I do is I have the session, and then I give the team, or I should say the members, a booklet like this. This one I think was for month before last on, what was this one on? In September, might have been on dealing with difficult people, I think, interacting with difficult people. But you get an outline of everything I covered. You know, we take you through all this good stuff. This is basically what the session was made up. I give you a written recap. We do some self-reflection and thought-provoking exercises that you can do on your own. I give you a challenge of what to do. Most months, most of the exercises, a challenge helps you groove them. So that's just an idea of what of what is there. So if that kind of stuff is interesting to you, a lot of that stuff will help you with your job search. But the Job Search Bootcamp is designed as a job searching program. My leadership monthly coaching program, as you could just see, is more aimed at your development. So it's like get the job and then do well in the job and do well in your life, and it's all high performance and self-help kind of stuff. But a lot of it is very, very applicable to what you are doing. And for those of you that, you know, I get a lot of emails from people like, hey, I just can't swing the boot camp, but once I get my job, you know, I'd love to jump in the leadership program. We have a monthly, you can get in on the monthly rate. It's $49 unless you are actually in my Job Search Bootcamp. Then you get a price break. It's $39 a month. You can cancel anytime, or I have a half off annual package for $297. So that comes out to be, you know, less than $25 a month if you pay on an annual basis. So it's really, really great stuff. So if you're interested, jump in before tomorrow at 11 because you get all the stuff. You get a lot of the replays, and if you can't make the session at 11, then we'll, you know, you get the recording, as you can see. Now, there's one other thing I want to mention. On Sunday, starting on, let's see, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I'm dedicating next week to diagnosing your job search. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is, dare I say, it might be the best damn giveaway I've built. It is certainly not the most popular because it requires effort. Most people are interested in resume templates and job interview checklists and things of that nature. But this is a pretty sweet booklet. It's free. And if you are interested in grabbing it, this is what it looks like. So on Sunday, I'm going to send you an email. On Monday and Tuesday, there's 3 email lessons, but this booklet, the download will be in there if you want to grab it, or you can grab it today. But there's an assessment. I take you through what I think are the 10 most important things about your job search, and you can look at them, you can rate them. I give you criteria of how I would rate it and how I would evaluate myself related to your self-awareness, how you investigate, how you bring yourself to the market, how you pitch yourself, how you search, how you network, and all this other good stuff. And then there's this grid. So based on each of those areas, what's the biggest mistake that people make related to each step in the job search? And then don't do this, do this. Do this instead. So it's a great, great booklet. I take you through all that stuff. If you're interested in that, you can grab it. It's free. It's my 10 by 10 job search formula. I also have a webinar called How to Find a Job You Love that is it's kind of a mate of this. But next week I have a 3-part email series where with this booklet I'm going to facilitate some really key aspects of your search, about your self-awareness, about your networking, about your job search, and it'd be great keepsakes. Everybody that's not a boot camper will be eligible for that. Boot campers, you have a lot of that material and much more in your program already. And then on Wednesday next week, we're going to have live office hours. The free live office hours is Wednesday because on Thursday, I have a private coaching session with my job search boot campers. So if you are interested in getting in that program, the program's not even on sale right now, but if you're interested in grabbing it, we'll happy to honor the $100 off for the base package. So it's normally $597, which is, if you go to the page right now, that's what you would pay. But if you email me and you say, I was on Andy's live show today and he said I could have $100 off, I like to give you that because I want you in the program and I want to help you on the deepest level. And I'd love to support you. So you just let us know. All right, let's go to the Q&A and make sure, Teresa and Doug, you get your prizes. And Doug, if you are not in our system, you need to email support@milewalk.com so we can get you what you need. How about that? I don't even know if you just found me or whatever, but welcome aboard, my friend. Okay, let me get to the Q&A. How's that? Everybody good? Everybody comfy? Okay. All right, let me just close a few things here. All right. Iriska83. What do we got? Can a name and surname on the CV cause a bias? If it's too long or sounds too immigrant, I've heard stories when people had to change their name to Smith, like John Smith, to get their resume noticed. Oh, that's good. Thank you for telling me that, Kara. Okay. Iriska. All right. Ooh, sorry. All right, Iriska. At the risk of sounding flip, because I don't mean to, everything you do, everything you say, every message you send, the sound of your name, the picture on your LinkedIn profile, everything you can possibly imagine, people have biases for. Okay? They do. It's just true, right? Let's not lie about it, right? I am wired a certain way. I don't have a lot of biases that people have because of the way I grew up. I grew up in a neighborhood where there was every imaginable color of people, every imaginable religion, every imaginable race, everything. It was just a melting pot. I just thought that's the way the world was, and I loved it. I had friends that were African American, Asian, Mexican. I mean, like it was great, and I was very comfortable that this world is a melting pot. Okay, not everybody's like that. People form biases based on their experience with people they've worked with or people they haven't. We have people who look at websites that want to target companies that say everybody looks like a middle-aged white guy, right? We have, well, these people are too young. They're not going to like me. These people are too old. This person has a name that's of this descent, so they're not going to be what I'm looking for. They're going to talk with an air. Like, all of that stuff happens, okay? So, here's my answer to you. The way I live my life is I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and if somebody's going to have that kind of bias, they're not for me. That's not my company. That's not my whatever. Put your proper name up at the top of the resume. If it's a long name, we have one guy. I'm about to do his resume review today. I don't know if he's here, Sean. I'm about to do his resume this afternoon. He has a long name, and it's a foreign. It would be a foreign name to me, but his name is Sean, S-E-A-N. That he puts in parentheses so that that's what I call him, or that's what he goes by, or whatever. That's perfectly fine. But I would not be changing my name. I would be proud. I'm proud that I'm a LaCivita, and if I was Smith, I'd be proud I was a Smith, right? So, yes, it can happen. No, I would not change your name. If you go by a nickname, then what I would do is I probably would not put it in the resume. You could if you want. The only reason I don't love put it, like if your name is Jeremiah Smith, but you go by Jerry or Josh or John or Joe or Jay or whatever, I would not put Jeremiah J. Smith, because if you're submitting it, applicant tracking systems kind of burp on these things. They like first name, last name, and all that good stuff. So I don't like to go there. I'm going to route myself to where I want to go. And where's my damn note cards? And I have this, right? I have faith. I have faith that it's going to work out. I really want you to take heed to this. I really do. I really do. Okay? So yes. Yes to your answer. Yes, there's a bias. I would not be trying to outmaneuver, because what you're going to do is you're going to start changing stuff for the benefit of the very few, and you're not going to be addressing the greater good, the higher order of magnitude that you should be. Okay? That's the way I roll. That is a damn good question. I hope that helped. Catherine, my boot camper, how are you? Tony P, my all-in guy. Good to see you, buddy. And flying Uber Tuber. Yes, LaCivita Land. Andy Land is a great place. We got my little doggy running by. Deb, how are you? Glad you enjoyed last week's show. I appreciate that. Hey, John. Yes, Dunedin is a great place, and 1966 is one damn fine year, let me tell you. Steve, how are you? Michael Moore, my boot camper, and Laura Cobb. Yes, you are an all-er-inner. Had an interview scheduled at 10, didn't get call. Called the point of contact, left message, colleague who was contacting me about power outage, and he'd be in touch. Okay, left the colleague my email, haven't heard. Should I send him an email? No. So, if you now know what the issue was, you wait for them to get back to you. Plain and simple. There's no reason to keep chasing them. William, how you doing? Hey, by the way, the leaders, which of William is, and Laura is, and Steve is, and I know and Tony is, and a number of you guys are, and even Catherine, I think you are still too for a little while. We don't only have the session on the 11th, but next Friday, we have the virtual cocktail party at 3 p.m. my time, which might be noon your time, or it might be 9 p.m. your time. So we're back to back this month, and that's the feedback session. I want to hear from my leaders of what you want and the topics you want to cover, and we're going to do that over bevies. Okay, MTO, how you doing? Wayne's email. Andy, your views about full tracking system aside, when applying through it, are there times when you attach a resume and also must input your roles? In these cases, which is the one scanned for keywords to screen out candidates? Excellent question. Okay, so Wayne knows that I abhor the applicant trashing system. That's what I call it. It's awful. Statistically, is not a good place for you to apply. I mean, it just isn't a good route. But I appreciate that you have to put it in there in some cases. The resume is the spot that gets scanned. Now, when you're filling in the freeform stuff, that matters too. Okay? So you do want to make sure that your keywords are in there and that they are in the right spot in your resume. I get questions like, well, I listed my skills up at the top, or I put it in the core competency section like you said. Do I actually need to repeat those keywords inside the body of the resume? And it's vital that you do that. For the boot campers, for people in the Job Search Bootcamp program, we have a whole session on resume submittal and best practices, whether you're sending it in the email, and I go into nauseating detail if you're putting it in the applicant tracking system. There is a booklet, a big booklet that I take you through of every little thing you need to do, okay? And every single thing and all the nuances of the applicant tracks that is nowhere in the public domain, okay? But for those of you that are in the boot camp, make sure you're paying attention to that. For Wayne, I'm going to give you one tip that is inside that booklet, because you raised this question here, is when you put the keywords inside the body of the resume, meaning if you go to the Andy School of Resume Writing, there's a profile up top, which is like a summary, career profile. You can call it a career summary or whatever. Then I like highlights to pull forward some of your best accomplishments. And then you go into your professional experience or your work experience. When you go into that section, the applicant tracking systems will read the years on your resume. And if it says project management and you were a project manager from 2010 to present, it's going to give you 10 years credit. Most of them will do this. They're smart enough, or they try to be smart enough to do things like this. So not every applicant trashing system behaves the same way, but it's important that you want to put it inside the work experience as well, because it's reading that. So this is important stuff to know, okay? All right, wait, let me take a pause. We're 45 minutes in. If you're loving this, hit the thumbs up. Please, YouTube loves that. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. You know what? I tell you, it hurts me when you don't get my new stuff. And I got a lot of really good stuff coming in December and in January. And the other thing is, if you love the video content, like you like videos and you would like the short, quick 1 to say 7-8 minute videos, but like mostly 1 to under 5, every day on Instagram, 2 videos goes out. They're not on my YouTube channels, or they're not on my YouTube channel. Occasionally they slip over to the YouTube channel, but most of these are short, powerful videos, 2 a day, that are on Instagram. So let's get connected up on Instagram as well. And if you're not connected with me directly on LinkedIn, let's get connected, because I do like to be connected first degree to you. It's important to me, because it helps me see what you're circulating, what you're doing, questions you're asking, what's going on in your lives. And plus, you can leverage my network, of which it's fairly healthy, tens of thousands of people. But I do like to see what you're saying, what you're asking, and I do like to follow and read your stuff. So let's get connected there as well. Let's see. Kara's telling me, Mohammed, one of my young boot campers, smart guy. Hi, Andy. I finally signed an offer today. Got it via boss hunting letter. Thanks a lot for your support and help. I wanted to ask what's next to build myself and my brand. Mohammed, I just showed you the leadership program. That's what you need to be in. The Career Accelerator's in there. The How to Build Your Personal Brand is in there. The Power Your Personal Story is in there. And everything else that goes along with goal setting and raising your game across the board. So you got to get in, buddy. You got to get in. Congratulations on that. Tracy, need that high energy jolt, better than black smoky French roast. You know, it's so funny, because a lot of times I drink tea, but I mean, I love coffee. I love coffee. And but yeah, my wife and I, we're dark roasters. We love the dark stuff. Tribe, hey to you. Aunt Amelia LaCivita, how are you, Mom? Love you so much. And the dogs and Linda too. Rick, my boot camper, you are welcome. That resume looked fantastic, buddy. I loved that second iteration a lot, and I liked the tightening and the clarifications that we went through. That was just great fun. And you got a phenomenal background. I stick with it. There's a sweet job out there for you, probably in your not so distant future. Tom Phillips, another booter there. Hey, with 2020 not being normal, I don't know. We needed this probably in some regards. Not that I wish any ailments on anybody, but perspective checks. What are your thoughts on hiring moving to spring when vaccination? Let me put this up here. And please don't misunderstand my statement there. I don't wish pandemics on anybody. I wish people would be mindful and have great perspective every day, no matter what's happening. But, we don't need bad car crashes and other things to get us to focus on the things that matter to us. But here, Tom, with the 2020 not being normal, the thoughts on hiring moving to spring when vaccine and back to office being closer for those currently employed remotely, does this change our strategy? So I talked about indelible marks in the world whenever something this catastrophic happens. I remember referencing back in 2007 when the market, last really nasty major market meltdown occurred, and how it changed the financial world and how it changed mortgages and lending and all these other things. And there's an indelible mark. I went into this in one of the videos somewhere on the YouTube channel in one of the 400 videos. But the one thing that you need to remember is what we are going through now is here to stay. Okay, so there are organizations who will want people in the office. Those organizations that are going to be sticklers about everybody's got to be in the office 5 days a week will become more relaxed when people are not in there, or they will be more open to hiring people remotely. I did a coaching session, not last night, it was last night. I had a few back-to-back, and the individual is in Nashville, and he got an offer from a company out of New Jersey and one out of the Florida area as well. And the one in Florida, they were talking about, usually everybody is in the office and we'd like you to relocate and this and that. And we were talking about the negotiation strategy of how to get what he wants and delay the moving and not be required to be in the office and all this other good stuff. But I believe that organizations will actually learn to fall in love with the remote working process, with paying less for commercial real estate, not needing office space as much, all these other things, once they convince themselves or have seen that working remotely can be effective. Now, there are other types of organizations where you physically need to be there. There are other types of organizations where, like, you physically need to be there to manufacture whatever you're doing because you have to plant, or hey, we need the team to be together so we can work our brainstorming sessions, this and that. But people use Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whatever for these kind of things now. So I wouldn't be waiting. Now, if you don't want to look now and you got a full-time job and you like it and all that good stuff, you could wait this out. But I'll tell you this, I don't think, look, you can look all you want at the news, and I'm talking about the U.S. right now because that's where I live. And they're talking about, vaccines being available until, as soon as this month. And I'll tell you that first of all, they're not going to go to you and me. They're going to go into nursing homes and hospitals and the elderly and all that good stuff. Then there's going to be people who react or have bad reactions to this. Then that's going to set things back. Then there'll be people who will just be reluctant to get it. Then this will drag on to the spring. Then more people will get vaccinated. Then that will drag on to the summer. Then what will happen is we'll have a lull. This stuff isn't going to be normal till the end of 2021. Okay, at best. That's if we continue to social distance, wear masks, and do those kind of things. That's my belief. Now, I'm not a doctor and I don't know that, but you can look back at this video. Remember, I shot it on December 10th, 2020, and you see what happens. So I would not be speculating on what's going to happen in the spring. I would be doing what I need to do to position myself right now to get wherever I want to go, and I wouldn't be waiting at all to do that. Right? It's like trying to time the stock market. So that's my view. I would not change your strategy at all. I really would not. So I hope that helps. David, how are you doing? Try BA. Executive recruiter reached out to me, had initial intro. Is it okay to send my resume without seeing the job description? I love this. Okay. And you know who else loves this right now? Stacy Gilmore. Because she doesn't have one of these videos, and I'm going to give her one right now. So this is a great question. And now, I could just say yes, just do that. And we could be done and I can move on. But y'all need to know something about executive recruiters. I'm thinking about a LinkedIn conversation I was having with somebody who, in my opinion, just didn't get it. And he was talking about how executive recruiters need to start looking for another line of work because recruitment is going to be all AI based now. And I was trying to explain to him that he obviously does not understand what executive recruiters actually do. Okay, executive recruiters do not review resumes. Okay, that's not their job. Their job is to work with organizations, businesses who need top talent, understand their requirements, counsel them on their requirements, counsel them on what the employment market looks like, counsel them on the probability and odds and timeframes of securing the right person who looks like and has the complexion of the requirements that they want. Okay, and then work with them to either increase their probability, accelerate that time frame by rearranging some requirements or relaxing them, and being a counselor to businesses. Then they go out into the market. They build relationships with people in the market so that If I reach out to you, just like TryBA was, somebody reached out to him or her, and they might have an opportunity, right? There's an impetus that made me reach out to TryBA, because TryBA, in whatever public information that he or she has out there, at my first glance, there might be a commonality between the position I'm looking to fulfill for my one client or multiple clients, or maybe TryBA is a BA and I do a lot of BA positions. So I want to reach out to TryBA. Now, there's an impetus to reach out to TryBA. However, I need to develop the relationship. The value to TryBA is not the job I have in my hand at the moment. That's silly, right? If I'm only as good as the opportunity I have in the moment, then if you don't like this opportunity, I'm of no worth to you, except that I am a window into the employment market for you. You go off and you be happy, or you go off and you take another job, or whatever. But now we have a relationship, and next time I get a BA position, I'm going to reach out to you, see if you might be interested, or I'm going to network with you. When you don't like what you're doing, you're going to call me, and I'm going to call you back. Okay? So you are building the relationship. So the reason this is so important, and the reason that this question is so fantastic, is because if you're thinking I'm just an employee, and they're telling me that there's a job there, and it's a BA company at a large manufacturing company, but I don't want to work for a large manufacturing company, so I'm just going to tell them no. That's ridiculous. You are losing out on an opportunity to build a relationship with somebody who could be a window into the employment market. You think this is the only job that person has? So you go back to them and you say, no problem. Here, I'm happy to send you my resume, or we can talk on the phone and I can explain to you what I'm interested in and give you my resume. Okay, but the most important thing for you is get on the phone with the person. Now, if they send you the job description and they say, let me know if you're interested, but let's talk anyway. It doesn't matter what that job description looks like. You don't care. If you are so myopic that you think, well, I don't match that. I don't want that. I'm not going to take the time to talk to this person. That's very short-sighted, right? So what can you do with this right now? What can you learn from this right now? Can't you have a conversation and share what you like, see what the employment market's like, have this person give you feedback on your resume, have this person tell you what it's like in the market for people with your background, even though you don't match this particular job right at this very moment, right? The value in getting the relationship with the executive recruiter is having the relationship with the executive recruiter. It's not the job that they have at the moment. Yes, it can be transactional at the moment, but you should be focused on the long-term relationship, and you should be also focused on helping that recruiter and giving that recruiter names, even if you match that job. What else are you working on? What else can I help you with? Right? Give. So you got to think that way. So recruiters do not review resumes. Okay? Corporate recruiters might review resumes, and AI might be used for that, but executive recruiters will never go away. Mortgage brokers will never go away. Lawyers, accountants will never go away. Okay, I mean, how ridiculous is that? So anyway, think about that. TryBA, hell yes, send the resume if the person asks for it. And if not, most of the time, when I'm talking to somebody on the phone, I don't ask for the resume. Send me your resume if you want. As a matter of fact, don't even send me the resume. Let's talk, and if you like it, then you send me a resume that matches what I'm looking for. That kind of thing. You can do that too. Either which way is okay. And if the recruiter asks you for the resume, it could just be, I want to do my homework and just see what your background is like. So the value is the relationship with the executive recruiter, not the job at the moment. Don't be that impatient, right? Build a relationship, plant the seed, and then water it, okay, over time. All right, I hope that helps. That's a great one. Damn, that's a good one. Beth, my leader, yes, you did. You got an offer yesterday in Clearwater? Yes! You guys have no idea how happy I am. This lovely lady who's from the central U.S. and wanted to move to the southeast got a job in Clearwater near her brother, who's in St. Pete, I think. Yay, negotiating this morning, and thanks for your scripts, and felt confident in going in. They were receptive. Will know tomorrow. And for those of you who were not on the show last week, the trivia question was, what are the 7 words I have underneath the afterword title in the hiring prophecies in an interview intervention, and my Beth Trevert got it, and so now she has an annual pass to the leadership program, which I will say is quite timely. And Miss Beth, I will be looking forward to that huge, glorious testimonial. Please shoot me a selfie video, and I will work on the quotes and put that pretty face up on the page. Okay. God bless you. That's awesome. And Martha, my boot camper, how are you doing? Bill, great to see you. Eugenio from Switzerland. Prasad, Flying Uber Tuber. All my work has come through my consulting firm. Do I cherry pick verse? Okay, this is great. All right. All my work has come through my consulting firm. Do I cherry pick in reverse chronological order the work best representing where I want to go? And how do I express that on my resume and LinkedIn? The answer to your first question is, when you are a contractor or a consultant, or you've worked for consulting companies or staffing companies, or you've worked as a sole proprietor, any variation. If, let's say, Flying Uber Tuber, you are through your consulting firm, it's you. So you have either, Flying Uber Tuber LLC, Flying Uber Tuber sole proprietor, whatever it's called, S Corp. That's your company name. Then you say, provide consulting services, whatever they are, provide business analyst and project management consulting services for medium to large size organizations. Sample projects include. Then you put a few of them in, okay? Now let's say this is like 10 years worth. You can put a handful, and I would choose the handful that most closely relates to where you're going. Meaning, I'm interviewing for a BA or PM position with an organization in healthcare who's implementing Salesforce.com. You should pull forward, if you have them, the healthcare ones, the Salesforce ones, the healthcare Salesforce ones, or anything that's remotely related to what that you have in your repertoire that aligns to that, where you want to go. You can also let them know in your cover letter or email communications, hey, this is my 2-page resume. I have a 10-page resume. That's a complete work history of all of my projects, which I am happy to provide you if you're interested. Do not send it because they don't want to see it and they don't want to read it all. But if they like you, they're either going to know from that 2-pager, right, that you got the goods, and then they might say, hey, what else have you done? And they might ask, and then you send it to them then. That's how I would do that. And then you go in reverse chronological order, and it doesn't need to be like, well, I was doing this CRM solution at this small company, and then I did a custom solution at this company, and then I did a Salesforce. You don't have to put the top 2, just sample projects include, and then you list them out, and you can call out the company names if that would be helpful. Or if you don't want to call out the company names on the resume, you could say large manufacturing company, medium-sized financial services organization, something like that. But that's how I would do it. And then in LinkedIn, you could do the same thing. All right, hope that helps. Prasad, how are you? James Lee, good to see you. Missed you too, Laura. Paula Gomez, how do? Cycling Tronica. We got Tri-BA, so I'm wondering if you're a triathlete. I got some strength training in this morning. I got another workout later today. Bob Ashman, how do I get this down to what matters on a resume and LinkedIn? All right. If I understand your question correctly, if you do not have a formal degree, then what I would do is I would ask you, do you have college credits? So I just did a resume. Actually, I did a coaching session on Monday with a woman who had taken chemistry, physics, calculus, and some other classes, but she didn't have a degree. So in the education section, what we did was we said, taking college course curriculum, so on, accumulating 100 credit hours in classes such as, and then whatever ones that she had taken, the general gist. I think the lifelong learner, I would expect. I wouldn't necessarily need to see it. on the resume. And if you have multiple colleges, then you can list, you can actually list the separate colleges if you want, if there are a substantial number of course credits from each of them. So like when I went to school, I took 133 and a half credit hours to become an electrical engineer. Okay. Well, if you only had 75, then just, you could say 50%, or you could say 75 credit hours or something of that nature, so that it shows order of magnitude. If it's 10 credit hours, I probably wouldn't make a big deal out of it. Also, for you, because I know you, I will tell you that no matter what you put in that section will be completely irrelevant. I wouldn't even look at it. So if I'm looking at somebody of your stature with your background at your age, in your age bracket, I don't care what schools you went to. If you have ongoing continuous education that is of substantial cachet, I would maybe pull it all the way up into the career profile, like attained certification for blah, blah, or, attended so-and-so's training of whatever kind as well, if you were well-versed. But honestly, if you're sweating this, I wouldn't be worried about that in the least at all. So I wouldn't use language like lifelong learner and all that other stuff, because I assume everybody is, even if you're not. But I hope that helps. And I would only call for leadership and sales training, maybe Sandler training or whatever, things like that. Maybe you did TAS training, things of that nature. Then just list them in there. And if it's germane to the position that you're trying to secure, then pull it all. You can pull the main ones all the way up to the career profile. Trained in, certified in, that kind of stuff, and then just list the biggies, couple, 1, 2 tops, that kind of stuff. Hope that helps, bud. Bradley Stone, my Instagram friend and bootcamp. Great to see you, buddy. Bob Peterson, Robert Peterson. Parita, hey, Donna Roberts, how do? First live anything. Oh, great to have ya. Danielle Phillips, always love the coffee mug. I am sporting the Bitmoji, although my Bitmoji looks different now. Can I help you? I actually like my Facebook Moji better than my Bitmoji, but I can't seem to get that one on a mug. All right, Daniel Helfman. Interviewed for my new job last week and sent a thank you note right away. While they said I would hear back right away, I haven't. My question is, any downside to sending a follow-up? Okay. Hi, buddy. Come here. Dave's on the show. Come on. Sorry about that. I have a high-maintenance dog who needs its attention. So, couple things. Everybody. 3 things. 3 things. Write these down. Okay? I interviewed for a job. Number 1. Thank you for your time during the session. Would love to know what the next step would be, who's going to contact me, and by when. Okay. Got to go 3 for 3. Why do you need to know this? So that you know when to follow up. So, hey, Daniel, I'm Andy. I just work here. I don't know what the next step is. Okay, Andy, what would normally be the next step after you? Right? This ain't the first time you're interviewing. What would normally be the first step? Does the recruiter get back to me? Awesome. Okay, great. Okay, yeah, I go give my feedback to the recruiter. Great. You contact the recruiter. What's the next step? Are you going to contact me, and by when? Okay, when do you think you will have a decision? Daniel, I'm the recruiter. I got to go talk to Andy. I got to give his feedback, and then the next step usually is, wait, I need to go talk to the hiring official. You've got to get this information, because that's what tells you whether you need to follow up or not. If I said to you, hey, you know what? The hiring manager's out of town right now. Then he's going to Europe for a week, vacation with his family. I'm not going to know anything for 2 weeks. There's no reason for you to contact me, right? So if I don't say anything to you, now you're like, hey, I didn't ask that. Okay, no problem. If I would send a thank you to the interviewer, I would copy the recruiter, okay? I would send the recruiter a separate email that said, hey, I really enjoyed talking to Andy. I just wanted to know, just so I have an understanding. I had a great session. Would love to know what the next step would be, and when you might know that. Okay. Now you didn't get that information, so now a week's gone by, right? You said, right, it's been a week. Send a thank you note right away. Well, they haven't heard back right away. I haven't. So let's say, last week could have been Friday. Okay, but either which way, it's Thursday. So I would email the recruiter, say, hey, I just wanted to check in. And by the way, I would not email the recruiter until Monday. All right. Email them, say, hey, just wanted to check in. I realize it's only been a week, but I thought I would check in to see if there's any update. If you don't have any update, can you let me know when you might have an update? By when? Okay, so I'm assuming that you have a point of contact, but that's what I would do. So I know I went into that. There really isn't a downside. What you want to do is you want to know what they expect, because the amount of time that you use to follow up, the span that is contingent on when they tell you they will actually contact you. And the grace that you provide them is associated with the length of time that they told you they needed. What do I mean? So if I say to you, Daniel, okay, you know what? This is great. I'm going to talk to the hiring official tonight. I got to talk to him in an hour. I'll get back to you tomorrow. And I don't get back to you tomorrow, you give me one whole day, and then you go, boom, Friday, then go to Monday at the end of the day. Hey, Andy, I know you said you'd get back to me. Just thought I'd check in. If I say, hey, it's going to be a week, you give me a week, then 3 more days. If I say 2 weeks, you give me 3 weeks, right? So the grace depends on how long I told you it was going to take me. If I say we're interviewing 3 candidates and that's going to take us a few weeks, so, okay, no problem. If I don't hear from you, by when should I follow up? Kind of thing. Then you start asking those questions. But you gotta know this stuff. I go into nauseating detail in the job interview mastery program for those of you who are in the bootcamp, job search bootcamp. I go into all this, the whys, the wherefores, how to follow up, what to say, what not to say, all that good stuff in that program. And any of you that have the job interview collection. So, a lot, I don't have the book, but, I give the interview intervention book away for free. If you chip in a few bucks, I mail it to you anywhere in the world. For those people who take that book offer for the $7, you have an opportunity to get the interview intervention course, which is $300, and the job interview mastery, which is another $100, and a few other things for $97. So that collection of interviewing stuff has this in there. And I would check that out. I don't know if you're in that, if you have access to that program. But that's a way to get interviewing help if you don't have the job search bootcamp. So it's a pretty sweet deal. By the way, if you actually have the interview intervention book, you've already paid the $7 or you grabbed the ebook for free. Maybe I gave it free at some point, and you want the $97 collection, just email us and I'll just send you the link and I'll give you the special price. Folks, I don't want to gouge you. I just want to help you, right? When in doubt, you always email support@milewalk.com. LaShawn, how do? Everybody's amazing. Kim, Donna, Bill, Doug, I see and hear you. Okay, so Doug, you were the winner. Hopefully you emailed. Debbie Yost made it to the second interview within 2 hours of the first interview. Everything seemed great. Received not considered on JobVite within 2 days with no feedback. What to do? Debbie, I'm absolutely not certain what happened. If it was me, I would email them back and I would just say, hey, sorry to hear. I was really excited. Would love to know if there was any feedback, and I'd love to stay in touch. And if you feel I'm suitable for anything else, and I would probably use a variation of my rejection letter, how to get the job after being rejected. It's difficult to say, and my advice is always dependent on your set of circumstances. So, when people say, well, you told me to do this, but but okay, well, there was some other information I didn't know. They said, hey, we found this on your background check. We did this and that. You offended this person. I don't know. I mean, there's a number of things that could have occurred. But in your case, it doesn't sound like any of that is the case. So that's what I would do. Hope that helps. MS Baby Girl, how do? Rick, no sound. I'm assuming everything is fine. Shang has a question about what's the difference between your boot camp and your leadership program. The Job Search Boot Camp is a job searching program. That's everything to do with finding the right job or the right career for you. And so everything inside that program is aimed at helping you do that. And that program has all the assets. It's all recorded. You get it for life. Okay, one enrollment. You not only get the program and all the job searching assets for life and all the upgrades I make to the program, but you also get the online support where you can interact with me, and you also get attendance at the coaching sessions that we have throughout the year, of which, we have like 30 something this year. 30 something sessions of private coaching sessions that you could come to. One enrollment. So effectively, if you get it on the discounted rate, it's $500 and you get that for life. Okay, you get, as long as I keep running this program, all the coaching sessions, all the support, all the upgrades, all that stuff. Okay, one enrollment, job searching assets. The leadership program is, like I showed you I don't know if you joined late, but it's about career development. So you got the job. Now, career development, high performance, leadership development, all the softer skills that you need to live a great life, to be a great employee, right? I teach everything from personal stuff to corporate related stuff, to personal interaction. That's a subscription. You have access to the assets as long as you have your membership. It's like Netflix, okay? If you discontinue your Netflix, everything goes away, all right? So you have access to the assets. Some people pay each month, and then some people cancel, and some people just keep going. Other people will pay annually, and that's the same thing. So anybody who's on the annual subscription pays $297 or whatever the annual rate is at the time they jump in. That's your annual rate until you cancel. Good till cancel. So they are different programs. Stylistically, we meet, with the boot campers. There's varying numbers of sessions each month. Sometimes there's one session. In November, we just did 5. December is 1. In January, there's a bunch of them. So we have more in January. The leadership program, we meet one time a month. It's literally like every 4 weeks. So it's pretty cool. The leadership program, we have, so in the boot camp, we have Zoom sessions. In the online, there's a lot of boot campers. So we do everything through the chat. In the leadership program, it's more interactive. I pull you up on the screen. I see your face. We have a little back and forth. It's kind of fun. If you want to be the brave soul and get up and ask me questions, and we go back and forth, we could do that directly. It's pretty cool. Any leaders here that want to share their experience, because it's funny when some of the boot campers become leaders, and then they look like, whoa, wait, this is a little different. But it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. So I hope that helps, Shang. Thanks for asking that. And here again, that's tomorrow. So if you're interested in the leadership program, email us at support or keep an eye on your emails. For those of you who are not in the leadership program, I sent you an email yesterday about some reflection techniques that I use, just a kind of a snippet of 5 or so. And that's really a great email for you. There's a lot of value in it, but there's also a link if you wanna learn more. You can always email us at support. If you're a boot camper, email us at support in case you want the discounted rate. And that's great stuff. And then on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we have a 3-part email series that's centered on self-assessments, networking, and job interviewing. And we have the 10 by 10 that I showed you a little while ago. You can grab that. There's some videos that I've done that are on YouTube that I'll point you to that coincide with the lessons. And then on Wednesday, we'll come together and I'll do a little live run through of some of that stuff. And then on Thursday, we have the private boot camper session. Zach, how you doing? Andy, I see many jobs saying this will be located at our office in. Does that mean not negotiable? I have one already say no. Okay. Here's my take. Much like the job descriptions that have everything in it, it's like the kitchen sink, right? I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and you got to have that, and you got to have that, and you got to have that. This is another one of those. I'd love to pre-filter and try to go only with people who are willing to either, or that are in my local office, state, or city, or whatever, or willing to relocate. That's what they'll try. But I assure you that you should apply anyway. We had a guy in the boot camp. I don't know if he's here, and he emailed me and he said, Andy, I went to an interview. Must have done a Zoom. They said to him, we really want you to relocate. He said, Andy, my wife does not want to relocate. I said, were they really emphatic? If so, bow out. Okay? Like, you don't need to mess with that. If you're actually consistently putting out your resume with the right kind of emails, the boss hunting stuff, the recruiter targeting, the HR targeting, the teammate targeting, all these other techniques I've given, the no job opening, all the stuff I've given you, then you're not going to worry too much, Zach, about some company that wants to stay old school. Right? That's effectively it. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of people like to go to an office. They want to be with their chums and their teammates and all that. That's cool. And a lot of people don't have the setup where they can work at home, and you're probably pulling your hair out of your head because you're tired of the kids and all that stuff. Right? But I say I'm not worried about the one or that one. I'm locked and focused on me and my process and my consistency. Meaning, so if you didn't catch the Job Search Challenge, the 5-day program that I had a little while back in November, just before Thanksgiving, I do have a Job Search Challenge video. It's a much shorter video, but it gives you the concepts of the challenge on YouTube, and it calls for identifying 3 companies a day, then identifying a person in each company, and then sending a message to that person or toward that person each day. If you're doing that, 15 a week, 21 a week, right? You got almost 90, 60 to 90 in a month. I'm not worried about this one that says we want you in the office. I also am not sending it. So I'm sending it to them anyway. If they get back to me and they say, would you be willing to move here? I'd say anything's on the table. Right, and I've talked to you and the boot campers about this, right? Anything's on the table, and then you push it all the way to the end. If they love you, they'll figure it out. So I hope that helps. All right, you got Dem, Jean, Stacy, LaShawn, Calvin. Hey to you all. Calvin, welcome aboard. I know you're one of the newer folks. Great to have you in the programs. Hope to see you tomorrow. Joseph French, Mark Grover, you bet. Aftab, my name is Aftab. Presently, I'm working as a project planning. I'm looking awesome. Daniel Phillips. Hi, Andy. Do you have a video advice for one-way interviews? Danielle Phillips. Of course I do. So, for any of you with video interviews, now Danielle is asking about something specific. So it's not this back and forth. It's I'm me, you're the computer, and you're popping up questions, and I'm talking through the camera, and you're recording me, and somebody theoretically is watching it, meaning at a later date. Spark, HireVue, these kind of companies they have products that do this. Companies will use these products. If you have one of those, I have a video called Video Interviewing, like for HireVue, HireVeu or VUE. It's a short, maybe 3-4 minute video, but I get a lot in there on what to do for the one way. I also want you to know that the video interview for job seekers, video interviewing for job seekers video that I have on YouTube that's got my 20 points that I go through of how to do this, I'd watch that first. That assumes, when I recorded that back in 2018, I think it was, that assumes that somebody is sitting on the other end. However, the setup and all that stuff applies. Doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference if you're doing it, by yourself and you're alone. All that stuff applies. But then I also have a supplemental one. If you search Higher View on my channel, it'll come up. Actually, you just search Higher View in YouTube, it'll come up. And I go through that. And then I also have another one, a video interview one that discusses a few key points and talks about the panel interview via video. So really comb my YouTube channel for that, and they will come up. Dana, my boot camper, how do? Ariska, I think I answered that one already. David, my New Zealander boot camper, how do, buddy? And Beth and Stacy and Joseph. Okay, I recently went through a preliminary phone interview. They asked salary, and I mistakenly answered. How should I proceed when that subject comes back up? Just say, if the subject comes, okay, so first off, you answered it. So you should have put it to bed, right? So maybe it comes up at the end. At the end, just say, you know what, make me a fair offer. Then when they come back with an offer, even if it hits your range, if you said, hey, 80K, 80 to 100K, if you gave them a range or whatever, they came in at 90, they came in at 100, I don't care. You counter offer again. Well, hang on, you said, Joseph, that 80 to 100 was good. That's right. Now you have to go into, okay, but I know so much more. Here's all the value I'm going to bring. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's why I'm worth it. All that good stuff. I now have a better understanding of what the benefit costs are, all this other stuff. Boom, boom, boom. I want 110, right? 110. That kind of stuff. It's okay. Don't worry. This stuff happens. I gave you a number at that time because you asked me to. This is why I don't want you to do that, by the way. One of the umpteen reasons. But you could still counter. So any of you who've given a number, don't sweat it. And when they come back, if they say to you, Joseph, you told me 80K. Is that still good? I'm going to put an offer together for you. Say, look, put the offer together. Just make me what you think is a fair offer and let me look at all the details. That's your planting of the seed that whatever you come back with, I'm not going to like, kind of thing. Now, if they come back and they say 100 to your 80, right, because they looked at it and they're like, oh, well, this and that. And, I'd still counter. I'd always counter. Unless it was obscenely good. So that's what I would do there. Dana, should we have high hopes for a position if a recruiter reaches out to us on LinkedIn saying we look to be a good fit? It requires more years of experience. Dana, not to be funny, I would not have any hopes at all whatsoever of anybody who contacted me on LinkedIn. I would respond to them and say, I'm so happy that you feel I'm initially a good fit. Let's get together and talk about it. Let's see if we match up. If I'm great for the role, I'm open to moving forward. If I'm not right for the role, I'll be happy to network with you and give you all the names of people I know that might be able to fill it. That's it. You don't know. I don't know. They don't know you. You don't know them, right? You should have all your requirements. You know this, young lady. So you should have all your requirements. You should have all that stuff from the boot camp, that 86-line spreadsheet I gave you, and all that other stuff filled out and in order, and then you can make the assessment. So, my boy, how you doing? Jetting Chen? I know. You know what, dude? Where do you live? You know what I'm gonna do? Well, I need to figure out how I get another one of these, or I'm just going to send you this damn thing. I'll wash it for you, of course. Oh, God. Joy, hey, Andy, just want to say thanks. You are welcome, and your consistency. Joy, consistency trumps talent, but if you got both of them, you're really in Fat City. But I believe in showing up every week, and you know what? Actually, I don't know if I have. I do. Can I say this? Okay. Okay, you know what else? Last week, if you missed this, okay, right, I said, hey, y'all waiting for your A game to show up, right? You're procrastinating, you're putting the stuff off, you're not showing up every day and all this. When your B game improves lives. And what matters more is on any given day, when I show up here, there is absolutely no way it can be the best I can ever do. I'm doing the best I can on that day with what I have, and I prep for it and all that good stuff. And on any given day, I will never tell you, you've never seen anything from me that I would call my A+ game. But the consistency that this thing here, the dailies matter, but the compilation is most important. But when I look at my YouTube channel, or I look at the Mile Walk Academy, I look that leadership program that I showed you with all the stuff in it, or the Bootcamp for those of you that are in the Job Search Bootcamp. The compilation of everything is what makes it an A. And that's what wins out long term. Why is it? I want you guys to think about this for a second. Okay? And this is what I'm talking about. Why is it that on any given day, we think we can accomplish more than we normally do? Okay? What do I mean? So you got a to-do list a mile long. Like, I'm going to do these 18 errands. I'm going to do this stuff. I'm going to call these 25 people. I'm going to do, right? Like, we have daily to-do lists that are like miles long, right? On any given day, and we never seem to get them all done, right? Okay. But why is it that over the course of our life, we don't think we can accomplish those mega things? I'll never be able to write a book. I'll never be on television to help the world. I'll never be able to be a trainer. I'll never have $1 million. I'll never, right? Right? Just think about that. Why is it that on a given day, we're always not finishing that to-do list, when if we looked at things for our entire life, we could accomplish so much more than we ever imagined, that most people do. Now, invert that. I try to do less each day and more over time by showing up every day, by planning and being efficient every day. So all these how is it that I can release 2 videos on Instagram every single day? They're cut-ups from these shows. I don't know. We got 20 videos from today, probably. I do that every week, right? So think about that. Don't wait for it, okay? Your B game will change your life if you think about it in terms of the compilation as opposed to the day. Joy, thank you for, setting me off on that one. But folks, think about that. Why do you think you can accomplish more in a day, but you think you can accomplish a lot less in your lifetime? Can I get a raise of hands right now? I'm going to look at the chat. How many of you think that? Right? Did what I just say, did that give you a, right, that's right. Right? I can accomplish more in a day, but I don't give myself credit for being able to accomplish what I think I should be able to do in my lifetime. Lifetime. Okay? Come on, man. You wait. I want to zip down. What are you guys saying? How far down? I don't know if anybody's actually heard me, or if you guys are chiming in. But that was my think about that for a moment. All right, let me get back up to, if you're loving this, please hit the little thumbs up button. All right, let me see. Sorry, now I was scrolling down to try to find. Oh, now I'm going back out here. Hang on a second. Oh my God, this chat is long. Damn, hold on. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I'm such a bonehead. I should have not done that. I should have just stayed where I was and used the other chat. Joy, I got you back. Okay. Whoa, Tiffany Payne, how the hell you doing? Andy LaCivita owes you a phone call, my dear. You know what? You are awesome, and I am going to be calling you here. Tiffany, as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to call you personally right now to answer this question. Well, not right this second, but when we're done. You were terminated Monday. How do I handle it in an interview? I actually, right this moment, I don't know how to tell you to handle it because I don't know why you were terminated. So if I understand how you were terminated, then I will be able to tell you that. But the good news is I'm going to give you a phone call today to welcome you to the program. So how about I just call you later, and I have your phone number. So I'm going to call you. How about that for personal service and welcome you? So you hang tight, and I'll call you this afternoon. And if we miss, just call me back. Okay? So I'll answer you. I'll answer you live and direct. Bonnie, Soul Relate, Jason, hey to you. Joy, your message about impatience, not waiting for your... Oh, goodness. Wait, so Joy, so we were just talking about that. So the message about impatience. If you missed my video on impatience, like being impatient with your actions and patient with your results, check it out. The A game. So Joy, I happen to have those cards because I took the little circle iteration thing from you. I'm so glad to hear that. That's awesome. All right, Bobby, I'm not sure what that is. That's exactly how it goes down. All right. Rob, how do? Maureen, my boot camper with the great name. Emailed company VP regarding an open job. She forwarded to the hiring manager, sent the resume. Manager read it and offered some minor verbiage changes. Didn't get the job, but gained a contact. Awesome. Maureen, what can I do with this right now, right? How do you leverage it for good stuff? Ricardo, hi to you, my boot camper. And Tiffany, great again to see you. Highly favored. Many thanks. You're welcome. Boot camper Floyd. Just, oh, beautiful. I wish I knew who you were. We will be doing a meetup in Florida once I feel safe to fly. I've gotten now like these COVID numbers on the way rise. Like I'm in self-imposed lockdown. I basically go from my bedroom to this office to my basement to work out or out the door to run or whatever, and then back or shower or whatever, back here, do more work, eat dinner, go to the grocery store. Bobby, attended telephonic interviews and written assessment. Suddenly received an email that I didn't match essential qualifications, which is grade 12. My education is bachelor's. I'm not sure what happened. I do think those tests are bunk. I mean, unless you really bombed it, I would ask. I would email and ask. Kate, how are you? Instructional designer and Colorado residents. Awesome. First intro to Andy's. This is great. This is great. Ahmad, new offer, $8K more than my current role. I tried to see if my current role would match. Said cannot renegotiate salary. I went with the new offer. They reposted my role with salary I was asking for. So, Ahmad, I don't know that there's a question, but here's what I would say. Why would you want to stay at an employer who wouldn't pay you what's right to begin with? And I would not go back to them and try to have and renegotiate with my current employer once I accepted a new job. I would move on. I would move on. Dana, how you doing? I'm so glad you found me too. I'm assuming you are talking about the words I get the most, and it is. I do get a lot of, I'm glad I found you, but the one is runaway winner is I wish I would have found you sooner, to which I always say, you found me right when you needed to. And all those things had to happen, right? You had to struggle. You had to, right? You needed help. You had to look for something specific. I had to make it available for you to find me, and so on. Steve, how do? Rula, I'm glad I saved your life. I'm happy that I did. Elizabeth Collins, thank you. Oh, wait, so you're telling me I saved your life, and thank you for changing my life. And I'm happy that I did that, and I hope you feel that I did. Oh, you guys are great. Annette, can you please help me, Robert? So much. Calvin, they trusted. Nina, my Paris boot camper, how do? Fox, Boswell, I'm glad you found me too. Andy, I need help with. Beth, thank you for all. You're welcome. Cannot believe I found your channel. Right now I'm hitting. You guys are awesome. I've been doing No, Bradley, that's great. That's funny. Ann, how you doing? I'm glad you found me too. You guys are great. Karen Braswell, I think the statement is, I'm so glad I met you. I'm glad I met you too. I did get your email, by the way. The reason I asked you to send me that was the exact what you clarified, because a lot of people do that and I can't remember who's who. So the aliases. So I will respond to that. It's in the support queue. All right, let me see. Maureen, why did it take me so long to find you? Yeah. Aaron, my boot camper, how do this? Is the answer, what am I doing wrong? No. Okay, you guys are all in there now doing that. All right, hang on. Wait. Oh, can I tell you this, Tiffany? You're awesome. You guys don't know? I don't know if you know this. I have a VIP program. This is the sweetest of sweet deals, and this is why she gets a phone call because we only have 10 of these. You might have snuck in. I think we might have one left. And somebody just finished. So I'm so glad to have you. We will have a phone call. I'll call you later today. No rush. If you can pick up, great. If not, and then the VIP program for the boot camp comes with direct access to me, and a coaching session, and the Career Accelerator, and some other things. So I'm so glad to have you. In the VIP program. Liz, good to see you. Hope all is well. You guys are awesome. Could be. I see things so much more clearly now. I'm glad you do, Beth. All right, let me see. You guys are great. I'm gonna have to look at this chat. Junior college excited to announce on LinkedIn. All right, where's the question? Alexa Taylor. 19 years of experience with a mixed background, 13 of that's corporate tech. Currently a training manager, looking to move into director, ultimately VP role in talent development. Testing for job search challenge meant that I have 2 questions. First challenge is finding the right person to target. I would target the HR person. Yes. Unless there's corporate training, a corporate trainer. Usually contact, because training can fall under their team, but the software tech companies, the training department is rarely in HR. Well, for the software companies, there will be somebody who is in charge of customer training, and I would look for that person. So I think the questions are the challenge, finding the right person. In the corporations, I would go to HR. They might have a training department. Okay, if you're contacting the companies who create the product that then goes and trains, there will be somebody in charge of training, the customer service, onboarding, or whatever. But I would, Alexa, I don't know if you are in the boot camp. So I don't think you are in the boot camp. I try to remember all you guys. I really do. It's in the job search boot camp, we don't teach you how to, we teach you how to use LinkedIn to search for people, but we don't advise that. We actually teach a different method with Google Boolean where you use Google to find the person you want to target. And then you can manipulate the titles in the Boolean string that then searches the LinkedIn database and basically gives you all the results back. And it's a much more narrow and targeted way to find the people you want. I don't think you're in the program. If I'm mistaken and you are in the program, then it's in the session on LinkedIn X-Ray and how to target the people you want to target. And then we teach you all of that. So but I don't know if you are in. If you are in, then that's where you want to go. FL Spirit 2382. Not sure I did amazing at my second interview this morning with the same company, trying to write a killer thank you email. Any tips? So on page 83, in interview intervention, I would use the template. I do think I have a thank you template out there. And for you, I would watch. For any of you going on a second interview, I have a video on how to interview the second interview. And that's the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, or whatever. And I would watch that because I'm going to talk about the concepts, the psychological concepts of the second interview that's different than the first. And when you send a thank you email to somebody whether it's the second time you meet. Now, if it's just a second interview and it's with a different person, just use the regular thank you email and that template. And there's plenty of thank you videos that I have out on YouTube. If it's I met with Andy and then I met with Andy again, make sure you watch that second interview video and then take the concepts from that video and embody it into the thank you email. Alexa, I see a whole bunch of stuff for you. I think I got that. Are you flipping serious? Serve the boss to get what she wants. I'm not sure I'm following all that. Kate, if sending a text-based resume through LinkedIn to a hiring manager, should I send a Word doc or PDF? Okay. When you say text-based resume, I'm assuming you just mean you're sending your resume. When you are, now there's a couple schools of thought here. This is my first reaction. When you send a resume to a person via email, PDF. When you send it to somebody via LinkedIn, PDF. When you put it in an applicant tracking system, Word document. Okay? It's a little easier to read, and it's going to be more effective. Use those. I gave you all three of them. That's what I would do. Okay, good to see you guys. Got a bunch of folks. Yes, we all did. So on and so forth. Coming. Highly favored. Thank you. When it comes to Andy, one word. Okay, can I say something here? This means a lot to me, and I want to say something to you all because, and here's a forever thing. So highly favored, whoever you are, I know you're in my boot camp. Thank you for that. When it comes to Andy, one word to summarize him and his team is empowerment. How I wish I came across Andy in MWA many years back. Number one, thank you. Number two, you found me right when you needed me. But remember this about your coaches. And this is really important. And I've said this before, and I'm sure I got a video out there on how to choose the right coach. I'm not just talking about me and how to choose the right coach for job searching. I have coaches for different things. I have an Ironman coach. I have a coach that helps me with my marketing stuff. I have different types of trainers that I follow for different things. Remember this. When you are following someone, I say this a lot. Any dumpy coach can teach you the steps, okay? The steps, and as a matter of fact, I have a lot of people that are career coaches that follow me, that take my steps, and then they try to teach their people, right? Do this first, do this second, do this third. Anybody can steal that, right? The best coaches can not only teach you how to do what you need to do, and it's not even as important that you do everything they say the exact way that they say it, and do it the exact way, because I'm giving you the guidance and I'm giving you the framework and I'm giving you the steps. But the best coaches can take what they know works or experiences from their own life, reverse engineer it, package it up for you, relay it to you in a manner that you understand with examples that'll resonate with you so it registers, and then raises your confidence level to go out and either try something that you would not otherwise have tried because you were inspired to do that, or something that you had to do like job searching enables you to do it with more vigor, more aggression, and more confidence, and go out and do it, right? If the coach doesn't do that for you, dump the coach. If I don't do that for you, dump me, okay? But any dumpy coach can teach you the steps, right? It's the inspiration, it's the motivation, it's the getting you out to do it in the world with real bullets in the gun and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you, highly favored. I wish I knew which one of my boot campers you were, but I appreciate that. Donna, my favorite actress, how you doing? Late to the party. You're never late, you're right on time. And this stays up on YouTube so you can watch this forever and ever. You are more useful than College Career Center. Thank you, Nicole. Saint, how are you? Deb Martin, you said that. Jerry, good to see you. Bonnie, when should I send a reply? Bonnie, I'm not sure where the question was initially. Yeah, for you guys, well, Doug, it doesn't matter. If you want the boot camp, you apparently won it. You got it for free. That's a pretty damn sweet gift. That is one hell of a good insurance policy. Teresa getting the leadership program now for free. Oh, Celia, how you doing, my new boot camper? Louisa, my boot camper. Yep, just email Kara. She's right on it. Let me see. Jetting, awesome. Guys, you guys are great. You guys are great. Questions? Oh, Beth, you're welcome. Thank you. Fantabulous. Vanessa, hi, Papa. They are, and they put up with me. Harley was sitting here. Laura, he was sitting here whining because he just wanted me to acknowledge him. But a lot of times he whines because he has a spot in the bed and Ginger has a spot in the bed. And because he wants to sit closest to me and he wants her to sit furthest away from me. And if he gets up, she moves into his spot. And then he doesn't like that. Can you believe only 3 of us do all this stuff? We have another guy who helps us, who actually does a fair amount of work with the videos and stuff. But basically, Mawak's like a 4-person team. It's actually not even a 4-person team. It's 3 plus. And Beth loves the leadership program, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's is pretty good. It's pretty good. The reflection stuff is pretty good. Aaron, great to see you, buddy. All right, where's the questions? How am I doing? Okay, wait. Tiffany? Wait, you already asked me that. I'm going to call you. How about that for personal touch? Where's all my questions? Am I running out? Come on, wait. I'm looking for the question marks. If there's not, okay, there we go. All my work has come through my, oh, I got that already. How do I get this done? Did I get that already? Okay, Rajat, this is a toughie. Here we go. What is the best way to find jobs in roles you want in the industry you want? So I actually would watch my video on how to build a target company list. There's a live office hour show I did a blue moon ago, maybe 2.5 years. Probably was around January, February 2018. Actually, maybe, almost 3 years now. And I tell you exactly how to do that. But you got to build your target company list. So if you know what kind of roles you want, engineering. So if you're in engineering roles, you might target engineering companies, or if you're a system engineer, you could target any type of company because they're going to need engineers, or you could target consulting companies. So there's variations of ways you can go about doing that. But it all starts with building the right company list, and I walk you through the 12 ways to do that. So check that out. All right, how we doing on time? Hey, man, I'm going to 1 o'clock. So we got 8 minutes. What do we got here? Tiffany, I worked for my previous job for 12 years. My duties, positions, and titles changed 4 times. How do I indicate that on the resume? Okay, so what we're going to do here is if you got your previous job, so company XYZ, from 2008 to 2020, right? Then you'll have a little brief description of the company. Then underneath that, you're going to have your most recent title. And because this is 12 years, you could list all 4 titles if they were different. You could list 3 sections and combine the last 2 if they were similar. So if they were, junior analyst and senior analyst, or whatever it is, and I'll know more here when you and I talk, you can actually combine those. But you basically want to show that evolution. And I know you just joined the program, and in Module 2, I take you through a lot of this. There's also the resume writing workshop that's embodied in the Job Search Bootcamp, where I lay this out, and I give you actually the template and the layout for all of this stuff. But I can also talk with you a little bit this afternoon. But once you get into that section, the template's pretty clear on how to lay that out. Company, description, title, most recent, title previous, just like that. And I don't know how many years of total work experience you have. If it's just 12, that's great. If you have, say, 20, that's okay too. You're going to be able to get all that in a couple of pages. All right, hope that helps. And Kara is telling me, Tom is asking, I have been on the job search for 6 months. I feel like I am getting close. I believe I have learned search techniques along the way, however, still looking. Would you still suggest the boot camp? So this is a fantastic question. So he's asking about the job search boot camp. Number one, you never know how close you are. Meaning, there could be somebody who just started and they get, they take their first step and that turns out to be the right one. And maybe it happens in a week, maybe it happens in a month, maybe it happens in 3 months. Then there could be other people who've been at this 6 months, like Tom. I don't know if you're any closer or any further. It might be next week. It might be 6 months from now. So number one, if you're telling me I feel like I'm getting more knowledgeable, that's great. If you're saying, well, I'm getting closer because I'm way down the road interviewing with organizations where I'm about to get an offer, okay, that's different, right? Maybe I'm getting close because an offer is imminent. If an offer's imminent, I'm probably not going to jump into my boot camp. I'm not. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna play it out. I'm gonna try to use my free techniques of salary negotiation. If I feel like I've learned a lot about the job search, but an offer's not imminent, I would get in the boot camp. Because when you look at the whole thing put together, see, the thing that's really difficult about trying to use all the free stuff is it is impossible. There's absolutely no way any of you could piece together in an organized fashion everything you absolutely need from A to Z to ultimately get the dream job at the right spot, at the right time, and compound the effect of all the self-awareness stuff upon all the marketing stuff that needs to be congruent with where you want to go, to how to bring yourself to market and the messaging in your interviews to sell yourself to the maximum extent to get paid the most, right? It isn't just about getting a job, right? Many of you can do that, right? Most of you will do that. But it's about getting the right job. It's about the right career. It's about getting paid the most. And a number of people have been in interview processes that have then jumped in. And then they'd say to me, oh man, I went back to the first module. I did the stuff you told me to do. Now I'm questioning whether I should even continue that interview process, right? There's a lot of moving pieces that you need to bring together in an organized fashion that work together to help you make the right decisions. So there's no doubt, if you've been following me 6 months, I don't know that you've been following me 6 months. If you've been following me 6 months, you probably know a damn lot about job searching. There can always be that one thing or two things. Now, here's another thing that I would say. I want to change the way you look at a program or investing in yourself. 6 months, now forget Tom for a second. If you earn $50,000 a year, you earn about $25 an hour. The boot camp, I just told you, costs about $500. That's 2.5 work days if you work 8 to 5. Right? Or 9 to 5, right? So now you're 6 months out, you're 6 weeks out, you're 6 days out, right? The investment itself will pay for itself so many times over. If you don't think I and you can beat you by yourself by 2.5 days, or if you make $100,000, you're talking about a long day. If you make $200,000, you're talking about before lunchtime. You earn that amount of money. So how do you reconcile trying to do this on your own, going out for weeks or months, not getting a job, and all the money you're losing as if that you're not getting in a paycheck that you probably would have at a much faster rate if you were in the program. And at a minimum, you're going to know so much more. It's not just about the speed. It's also about better selling yourself and getting paid more because you were able to do that and able to negotiate better. So that's something to think about. And you got to reshape the way you think about it. You think, well, $500. Well, but every day that goes by that you don't have a job, or you have a job that you hate, that you want to get out of, that matters. To me, it would. So just think about that. All right, let me do this. This is a great 2 hours, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Think about those 5 things we talked about, right? Have faith. Your search is 1 unit. What can I learn from this right now? What can I do it right? What action should I take? What can I apply forever? And who can I take with me? All right, so do that. Be on the lookout for an email tomorrow about the leadership program if you want to join. If not, if you want to get in now, support@milewalk.com or head to the page. On Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, if you're not in the boot camp, you're going to be getting an email with the opportunity to grab this guy with email lessons on the self-awareness stuff, on the networking, and on the job interviewing. Wednesday, we'll get together. I'm going to pick a few beauties from inside this sheet that I talked about, and I want to highlight a few things for you. Then on Thursday, I have a private coaching session with my boot campers, and then on Friday, I have a cocktail session with my leadership group. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Got a lot of stuff going on throughout the entire month and then into the beginning of January. So always enjoy it, folks. Hope you guys have a great day. Tiffany, I'll give you a ring here in the not so distant future. And for everybody else who's not Tiffany, so long, and be on the lookout for a message from me tomorrow. You guys be great. See you soon.